Greetings, film fanatics. Filmholmes here, and welcome to another rendition of Too Many Movies. Tonight is the night that all Marvel fans have been waiting for quite a long time. The build-up has been spectacular, the trailers have been focused and entertaining and just made us all just so damn excited that we can't even think properly. Tonight is the night that Captain America Civil War is finally going to be unveiled to probably just the US, or maybe some other parts of the world. I'm not quite sure how that works. Or really, the release date is tomorrow, Friday, but I am going to see it at 7 p.m. tonight because I am a lucky son of a bitch. Now, I am a huge fan of the Marvel movies. It took me a little while to get into them, but once I did, I became a huge fan of them. I mean, they're popcorn movies, but they're kind of smart. And they're so damn entertaining. They're so freaking entertaining. And Captain America Civil War is a movie I've been waiting for because it could very well go down as the best superhero movie made thus far. It very well could be. It'll be funny, but it's going to be the most dramatic. It's Tony Stark, Iron Man versus Captain America. They're finally going to collide, and it's going to split the Avengers apart. Some on Tony's side, some on Roger's side. It is going to be spectacular, and the reviews have been good so far. I don't see them being horrible, and after Batman v Superman, the world needs a good superhero movie. Once again, Marvel's going to show DC how to kick ass. But before I go tonight to see Civil War, I realized that now that I'm doing this again, I've never reviewed any of the Marvel movies. I didn't get a chance to, and I own them all, and I've watched them all. And that's what this video is going to be. I want to give quick little reviews for every single Marvel movie. Now, of course, I just mean the ones that count. And by that I mean, like, they don't really count the X-Men movies in terms of the overall story. They don't really count those. You know, it began with the first Iron Man and it goes up until Captain America Civil War. All those movies that count in terms of the overall story of the Marvel series. I'm going to go through every single one as quickly as I possibly can, and then I promise later tonight or tomorrow morning I will have my review up for Captain America Civil War. But until then, I'm going to go through all the Marvel movies. Here we go! Okay, the first movie that was released by Marvel and Disney to basically get the Marvel storyline going was Iron Man. I think Iron Man surprised a lot of people by how fantastic it was. And of course, the main reason it's fantastic is because the perfect casting choice of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark / Iron Man. Nobody else on this planet, past, present, or future, could ever play this part as well as Robert Downey Jr. There's no way. It's exactly what we thought that character was going to be. I just love watching him in this role, as the whole freaking world does. I've never heard a complaint about the casting choice of Robert Downey Jr. Now, the movie itself, the first half, it's one of the best origin stories told in a superhero movie. Possibly even the best. It's tough to say. There's been so many now. But it is so intriguing and so well done. I knew jack shit going to this movie about Iron Man. He didn't intrigue me. But the movie made me a fan. And I love the first half of the movie. And the second half is really good as well. It's just the villain is kind of not that great, which when it comes to the Marvel movies, it's just something you got to get used to, but we'll get into that. But it's still got a good climax. I love the ending. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. I'm not going to spoil any of these endings to these movies. These are just going to be quick little reviews, like I said. But the casting choices were really good. It actually made me like Gwyneth Paltrow. Never hated her, but I like her as Pepper. I like the cast in this. But again, Robert Downey Jr. steals the show. The writing was good. The direction was good. And it showed how good superhero movies could really be. And because of Iron Man, it's almost like the granddaddy of superhero movies now. It made people take it seriously. So the first Iron Man movie, I will give a 4.5 out of 5. Next. I should have probably said before, I'm going to go in order of when these were released. From Iron Man all the way up until Deadpool. So, sorry, I didn't mention that before. I'm just so excited about Civil War coming out tonight. So I'm sorry, my mind is elsewhere. Okay, the next movie to come out, and this one was not released by Disney Marvel. I can't remember which studio it was, but it was The Incredible Hulk, when they could actually call him The Incredible Hulk. It wasn't Mark Ruffalo, it was Edward Norton. And I'm a big Edward Norton fan. I love it. Back here, where is he at? There's that beautiful son of a bitch in one of my all-time favorite movies, Birdman, which I cannot wait to do a review of that someday for you guys. But, getting off topic. I wasn't going to buy this one, but they did, they count it as one of the Marvel movies. They actually put it into the lore. In the Avengers, Hulk, they can't call him Incredible Hulk, which is so stupid, but Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, he mentions how he screwed up Harlem, and that was in the first movie, so they do count it. I finally bought it, and I watched it. Really, the only good thing I can say, well, there's a couple good things I could say. One is that the Blu-ray case came in green. It's my favorite color, so I like that. I like Edward Norton as both the Incredible Hulk and as, God, really? I'm having a hard time, Dr. Banner. I can't remember his first name, sorry, I'm blanking. But I like him. I mean, it's Edward Norton. He really tries in this movie. He cares about the role. The rest of the cast is fine. The villains, again, are very, very weak. I like Eric Roth a lot. Or, I'm sorry, Tim Roth. Jesus. Liv Tyler, I'm not a fan of, but she does fine. The movie is just boring. It's not that it's bad, it's just boring. And they make you wait for Incredible Hulk till like the end of the movie. And the effects are really good. Avengers finally made it better, I think. But it was still good effects, and the fighting was good, the climax was okay. It's a shame Edward Norton couldn't have stuck around, you know, for Avengers, and they could have continued that. But I do enjoy Mark Ruffalo. I actually enjoy him more now, probably just because he's been in 2 movies. But it's just a really boring movie. After about an hour, I was like, how much longer do we have? And it's almost 2 hours long, and it's just like, Christ on a crutch. It's too much. And it made me realize that I don't know if they could ever make a good standalone Hulk movie. I'm sure it's possible, but I don't know. It's going to be rough. I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than that Hulk movie by Ang Lee. Tremendous director. That was a piece of crap movie. But Incredible Hulk, I don't recommend it. You know, I recommend every Marvel movie but that one. But if you're curious, find it for a cheap price or rent it, you know. But I rate it about 2.5 out of 5. It's honestly not a movie in the Marvel Universe or a movie, period, that I'll watch again. Next! Okay, so we have Iron Man 2. I believe this was the first Marvel movie I saw in the theater. I don't even think I'd seen the first one yet, to be honest. I wasn't a fan of the Marvel movies yet. But I saw this one, and I was entertained by it. Again, mainly because of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. He's so damn good. I mean, he's basically playing himself, which is fantastic. He makes the movie, but the script is shit. The script is awful in Iron Man 2. It's so convoluted, it makes no sense. To me, it's all about setting up stuff for the Avengers. I mean, there's some good inside jokes, and I mean, it's fun to see Samuel L. Jackson, it's fun to see Scarlett Johansson, you know, but the villain is super weak. I was excited to see Mickey Rourke in this, and it was disappointing. I love Sam Rockwell. He's just another guy in a freaking suit. You know, it's really not a good movie, but it is an entertaining movie from beginning to end. It really is. If you take your brain out of it, you have a lot of fun watching it, and that's, again, mainly because of Robert Downey Jr. So, when it comes to Iron Man 2, it's a very weak movie, one of the weakest Marvel movies. It's not good, but I still give it a 3 out of 5. mainly just because I can still sit through it and I can watch it and be happy that I watched it if I just want to waste, a couple hours. So, next! Okay, Thor. I'll go ahead and say Thor is my least favorite Avenger. He just... To me, he's just boring because he's cool. I like his backstory, but the fact that he's a god, it's like, well, what can you really do to hurt him? And when I saw Avengers, he was my least favorite, but Avengers made him interesting to me, and we'll get to Avengers. But I wasn't looking forward to watching either Thor movie, and I heard they were okay, but the first one, I finally watched it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, for me. I was entertained by it. I really enjoy the stuff on his home world, which I'm blanking on the damn name right now, Asgard, but I like the interaction between him and Loki. Tom Hiddleston or Hiddleton, shit, I can't remember, but he's really good. I like Anthony Hopkins as God's sakes, I'm forgetting everyone's fucking name. Again, I'm just so pumped for tonight. But I like Anthony Hopkins. Rene Russo comes in as Thor's mom. I didn't expect that. It's a weak movie. I say it's a little bit ahead of Iron Man 2. It's definitely ahead of Incredible Hulk, but it's weak. And I was worried about seeing Thor as the fish out of water on Earth, but I like the fact that Thor was a dick. He was a jerk. I didn't expect that. I thought he'd always be a Boy Scout, and he wasn't. He was the complete opposite. I enjoyed that. And the fish out of water stuff wasn't terrible. Him and Natalie Portman have a little bit of chemistry. Her character was okay. Kat Dennings is annoying as the comic relief. I don't hate her. I mean, if she wants to date me, I'll date her. It's Kat Dennings. But, in case she's interested. But she was annoying, but she was much more annoying in Thor: The Dark World. We'll get to that. But as the movie itself, I'm glad I saw it. It's not going to be one that I really rewatch. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. And that's being generous. But it's a weak movie, it's a weak script, but it gets the job done in introducing Thor. So, next one. Okay, Captain America: The First Avenger. Funny backstory on this. I was not a Marvel movie fan yet, and a girl that I took on a date brought that movie to my place to watch. She had never seen it. And I don't know why I found it so boring. The beginning stuff with him as just a normal dude, or not normal, very puny, it was boring. And I never found Captain America interesting. I didn't like him as a superhero at all. I really didn't. So after about a half hour, we got bored, and then we found another way to not be bored. But whatever, use your imagination. So for a couple years, I just figured I hated the movie. And then when I got interested in the Marvel movies and I liked Captain America in the Avengers, I decided to give the first movie another chance. And honestly, I love it. I love World War II stuff. I find it very interesting, and I like the way that it's shot here, and it looks so cool. I enjoy the beginning stuff now. It didn't feel as long-winded as it did before. It seemed a lot shorter, and the moment that stuff's done, the movie really picks up. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie from beginning to end. The only weak part to me is Red Skull, and that's been a complaint that's been complained about for a while. I like Hugo Weaving. I was excited to see Red Skull. I think he looks okay, but it was just a waste. But I do think they're going to bring him back in future installments. It may not be Hugo Weaving, but I think they'll bring him back. And when you see the movie, you'll get what I'm talking about. I'm not going to spoil anything. And I really like the chemistry between Captain America. I'm blanking on names. I apologize, but his love interest. She is gorgeous, by the way. Forget Kat Dennings. I want that woman. Oh, British. I love British so much. British women. But their chemistry, and I believe their romance. And I really enjoyed Tommy Lee Jones, too. I'm a big Tommy Lee Jones fan. And I didn't know he was in this movie, and I was excited. And, when Captain America and this isn't a spoiler, you're going to know this, when he finally goes to the future after he's frozen, I'm sad that he's not with Agent Carter anymore, or that Tommy Lee Jones isn't around. It's sad. You really feel for this guy, and you kind of miss him being with these people. I don't know how the movie did that, but they did. But I love that movie. I really do. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. And honestly, I'd say about a 4 out of 5. I really, really love that movie. I still do. So, next. Okay, this is the big one. This is the one that made me a fan of the Marvel Universe. I really wasn't. And I know that's kind of lame because it's like, oh, you became a fan after the Avengers. Well, yeah, I did. You know, I'm sorry, but I did. This movie is so goddamn good. It is my favorite superhero movie thus far. It really is. It has everything I want in a summer blockbuster superhero extravaganza. Joss Whedon wrote a great script. Again, the villain is weak, just like it is in every Marvel movie. And I'm not going to say that for every review on here. I can't think... If I can think of it when I review the movie, I'll say it. But I cannot think of one supervillain in any of these movies that is good or extremely well written. I mean, there might be one, and we'll get to that. But, you know, the whole plan with Loki doesn't really make a lot of sense, and frankly makes him look like an idiot and a tool. But it doesn't matter because this movie delivers everything you want. Plenty of action, and the Avengers getting to know each other, and Tony and Captain squabbling, and the one-liners. My God, the writing was so damn good. The one-liners everywhere, and the ending, and oh my God, it was everything that I wanted it to be and more. I went to see it in the theater twice, which for me, with a movie franchise I didn't think I'd like, is a lot. And it is still my favorite superhero movie, and I'll tell you this. My favorite superhero is Batman. It doesn't make me a DC fanboy. That's always going to be my favorite superhero. I have a movie poster in here that if you watch my movie posters video, you'd see. The only superhero movie poster I have is The Dark Knight. That was my favorite superhero movie. Honestly, Avengers, it overtook that big time. I love The Dark Knight, but Avengers, I can watch that any day of the week and be entertained and happy. They got almost everything right. And to me, this movie is a 5 out of 5. And that does not mean it's a perfect film. I want to say that for future reviews. 5 out of 5 just means that this is the perfect film to me. No film is perfect. No film. Citizen Kane has its flaws, and yet it's still a 5 out of 5. It's a great film. But The Avengers, it's what made me a fan. It's what got me into the Marvel Universe. It's still the most entertaining to me out of all of them. I love it. So, yeah. Next. Okay, Iron Man 3. I went to see this in the theater because the trailers made it look so damn epic. Like this was going to be some kind of ending for Iron Man, even though we all knew it wasn't. I will say this, it is a shit ton better than 2. But it also suffers from the same fucking flaws. It's a weak script, but it's a more epic script. So you don't forgive it, but you can look past it. There's a lot of bells and whistles that get you to ignore all the flaws. The supervillain, although much more interesting than that in 2, and even 1, and I love Guy Pearce. I love him as an actor. It's just another guy in a suit. Again, it's just something we've seen twice already. It's boring. Like, we just had Avengers, and that's a big part in this movie is what happened in Avengers, and I like that. And we saw him fight aliens, and it was exciting. I don't want to see him fight another fucking guy in a suit. But it was what it was, and it was directed by Shane West. He took over from Jon Favreau. And of course he had to make it Christmas because every Shane West movie has to be Christmas for some reason. It didn't add anything to the movie. But I will say this. It's not a good movie, but it's so damn epic, it's fun. And again, you go for Robert Downey Jr. That's what you go for. And throughout the 3 movies, what bothers me the most is that Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, he doesn't evolve. He gets to stay the same through all the movies. And that's a shame, because it's not what we want to see. I mean, we want him to be the same, but he's got to evolve a little bit. And I guess he does somewhat, but it was a disappointing movie, but in a huge epic way. I can watch all three Iron Man movies and be happy and be entertained. So Iron Man 3 to me is a 3 out of 5. I guess I could go 3.5, but I think 3 is good enough. So, next. Okay, Thor: The Dark World. I wasn't looking forward to watching this either, but I heard it was a lot better than the first one. And that's true. It is very true. It's not. It doesn't take place on Earth that much, and they go to another realm or planet or whatever, and it's not as colorful as like Avengers, but it is more interesting, and there's a lot of fights that are really good, and the struggle between Loki and Thor and Odin, remembered his name finally, that's really cool. It does up the ante. He's still my least favorite of the Avengers, and these are probably my least favorite of the movies. Incredible Hulk is my least favorite. Thor movies would probably be next, but if there was one Thor movie I would watch again, it would be Thor: The Dark World. Except one thing holds me back. Whoever wrote the script for this and thought, you know what, Kat Dennings is the only comic relief that we need, is a fucking moron. They are stupid. She is so annoying in this movie. My God, is she annoying in this movie. And I like her in a way, and I kind of like her acting, but she is annoying and not funny, not well written at all. It's my least favorite part of the movie, but everything else is pretty solid for the most part. So, Thor: The Dark World, for me, I'll say 3. For now, I'll say 3. I was gonna say 3.5, but 3 for me personally. So, but it is a lot better than the first one. It's very enjoyable. I like the ending. It's just, it didn't do everything it should have. So hopefully Thor Ragnarok will be the Thor movie that I want to see. But we'll have to wait and see. So, next. Okay, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I had heard a lot of people praise this as the best superhero movie ever. And I completely understand why they would. It's probably the best written out of all the Marvel movies, and we'll wait and see with Civil War. But there's political intrigue, there's superhero stuff, the stuff between Captain America and the Winter Soldier. It is so well put together. It is so solid. And the villain in this is a good villain. I mean, he's not weak, honestly. I won't say who it is or whatever, but it's, from what I remember, I was very happy with it. It's probably the only one where the villain I thoroughly enjoyed. I enjoyed the backstory of him. I enjoyed, or her. I enjoyed all of it. But the movie, I mean, it kept me on the edge of my seat. Even though I already knew a couple things weren't going to stay what, things were going to change as the movie went on. But it didn't ruin it for me. It flew by so fast. And I just love Chris Evans as Captain America. Again, a perfect choice to play him. But the movie is fantastic and really emotional sometimes. Captain America goes to visit Agent Carter when she's older, and it almost brought tears to my eyes because it just makes you so damn sad. And again, the character evolves, and it starts the whole building the new Avengers. And oh my God. It's probably the best Marvel movie so far, but my favorite's still Avengers. But Winter Soldier, honestly, I'll give it a 5 out of 5. I will. I was going to say 4.5, but if I gave Avengers 5 out of 5, this is definitely a 5 out of 5. So, yeah, it's probably my second favorite of the Marvel movies. So, next. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy. I was so perturbed when I heard they were making this. I didn't get it. I didn't know what Guardians of the Galaxy was, and I read what it was, and I was just confused. Like, really? This has to be part of the film lore? Like, why? I don't get it. I saw Chris Pratt. I was happy for him. Dave Bautista, who the wrestling guy that lives here, told me he was a wrestler and now an actor. That's great. I like the cast, but I wasn't expecting much. And then I saw the ratings. And it shocked me. I'm like, really? I gotta go see this movie. So I did. And it is so freaking entertaining. It is nonstop. And some people say that that's a problem, that the editing, it's just, for 2 hours, it's just, whoo. And that's true, but that kind of makes it unique. And the soundtrack is amazing. I have it on my phone. All the characters are about as perfect as they can be. I love it. The villain, again, is weak, but not as weak as some of the other ones. I actually liked him a lot. And it's probably like my third or fourth favorite Marvel movie. The writing is really good. The jokes are fantastic. The characters are written wonderfully. I cannot wait to see them with the Avengers in the future, like in Infinity Wars. I can't wait to see crossovers. I'm like a little kid thinking about it, but it was the surprise, I think the biggest surprise out of all the Marvel movies, because I think people were thinking it was going to be a disaster. I think even Disney might have thought that, but it turned out to be a huge hit, and it deserved to be. If you haven't seen that one because you thought it might be too weird, go see it. Well worth it. I give it, for me, it's about a 4.5 out of 5. It's another one I can watch any day of the week and be happy. So, next. Okay, Avengers Age of Ultron. I was so excited for this movie, to see the sequel, and it is a damn good sequel. It's everything we kind of wanted to see, and the characters did grow a little bit, and the story was great, the one-liners were great. I'll be honest though, the first time I saw it, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. For some reason, the plot confused me while I was in the theater, and I finally just gave up. I don't know what my problem was, because the plot's not really that hard to follow, but there are so many characters and so many different stories going on, and for some reason I got lost. But I was still entertained by it, and the action's wonderful. I thought it was too much comedy, too many one-liners, and I just kind of left the theater scratching my head. I thought they did a lot of stuff. They packed too much into the sequel, where a lot of sequels, they do that, and they fuck it up. But when I rewatched it, once I finally got it on Blu-ray, all that kind of left, And the villain, he's not weak. I just didn't enjoy how the Avengers created him. But the more I watched it, the more I enjoyed how they're the ones who created him and why they created him. And I love James Spader, and he did fantastic as the voice of Ultron. But it kind of goes everywhere I wanted the Avengers sequel to go. And I know some people didn't like us seeing Hawkeye's personal life. Personally, I like that a lot. I really did. I thought it added something to the movie that we don't get to see in a lot of these type of movies. But Joss Whedon did a fantastic job again. It's a shame he left the series, but I'm sure it was tiring, and I think he was exhausted after Age of Ultron. I mean, that's a lot of work. Those two movies, I'm sure, took off 10 years of his life. But the writing was fantastic. The one-liners weren't nearly as bad as I remember. There's a lot of funny one-liners. The action's great. The acting's great. I personally give it a 4.5 out of 5. I still enjoy the first one more, but I love the sequel, and usually I watch it right after I watch the first one if I can. So, next. AntMan. I think a lot of people were expecting this to not be a huge hit. I figured it would be a huge hit because of Paul Rudd, because I thought that was a good choice. He's a great comedic actor, and he'll be able to show off something different, and he did. I wasn't expecting much, because we've seen so many of these movies and the origin stories, and eventually they just all kind of, are kind of the same in a way. But you know what? I didn't know Ant-Man. I didn't think I'd be interested by Ant-Man, but they really made him, his backstory, everything else, they did a good job. And from what I know, they changed some stuff from the comics, which pissed people off, but I personally kind of see why they did it, and I liked it. But Paul Rudd was a great choice, and he takes it seriously, and I really like him. Michael Douglas does a fantastic job. I really like him in this film. And at the very beginning, when they make him look young, oh my god, he looked like he did in the 80s almost. Like, it was impressive work, whether it was digital or makeup. It was really impressive. Evangeline Lilly, she was good. The villain, once again, is weak, but he was fine. I don't know. I use this word a lot. I know I need to buy a thesaurus, but I am still entertained by it. The effects they did with the ant stuff and the Ant-Man and him shrinking and the action, like, they really make it interesting for the audience. He never gets boring, and I love it. Personally, I give it a 4 out of 5. I was impressed how well they made it, because I figured that would be one that it may have been a huge miss. But no, it was not a miss at all. It was done about as well as it could. So like I said, 4 out of 5, and next one. Deadpool. I had heard about Deadpool for years, and that Ryan Reynolds wanted to make a movie, but they were scared about making an R-rated Marvel movie, which I can understand, especially Disney, being a part of it. And Ryan Reynolds, there's nobody else on this planet to play this part. It's Ryan Reynolds. It's him playing a more extreme version of himself, which, great. I was so excited to see this movie, and it lived up to the hype and more, and I'm so happy it was as successful as it was, and I cannot wait. It comes out next week, actually, on Blu-ray, and I can't wait to get that in the mail and watch it again. But the writing, the comedy in it is so freaking funny, and it's Deadpool. And yeah, the overall story is weak, but to me, that's almost a joke in itself. And the fourth wall jokes, oh god, it is so entertaining. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. I wish that he could do crossovers. He won't be able to because they have to keep it R. And I'm so glad the studio trusted Ryan and the writers and the director to make the Deadpool movie that the fans deserved and wanted. I can't wait for the sequel already. I can't wait for it. I was so blown away. My expectations were high, but they lived up to them. It's filthy, but in a great way, and I love that it came out like on Valentine's Day, and they put that into the advertisement. It's just so damn funny. And Ryan Reynolds is what every man wants to be. The way he looks, the way he acts, his comedy, it's something we all want to be. So thank you, Ryan, for doing this. Whether you leaked that footage or not of Deadpool, I think you did, but thank you, because you gave the fans exactly what they wanted. It's as close to the comics as it's going to be, from what I know. Oh god, I can't wait to watch it next week. I'm so excited. But I give it, to me, a 4.5 out of 5, because the writing is spectacular. The story is weak, but who cares? You're not going to this movie to see it for the story. You're going to see Deadpool. And I'm sure the next one, the story will be a little bit more complicated, but in a good way. So 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, it is so damn good. Whew. All right. A lot of movies to go through, and like I said, once again, I'm not missing any because the X-Men movies don't count. They're not in the overall Marvel story. For the films, I mean. Fantastic Four, that new one, I haven't seen it, but it's not a part of it at all. I know it's a piece of shit. I love the X-Men movies. I'll review those another time, but they're in their own universe. That was proven by the whole Quicksilver thing. But those are my reviews, my short reviews of all of those movies. And if you ever want me to go into more detail with any of these, just leave a comment, let me know, and I'll go into a lot more detail. I'll watch the movie again, and that'll definitely give me more to say. But I just wanted to let you all know what I thought of the Marvel series so far. I am a film snob, like one of my favorite movies is Citizen Kane, Bridge on the River Kwai, Network, those kind of movies. But we also go to the movies to be entertained, and that's what these are. Superhero movies have now completely taken over the market. They're the most popular movies on the film market, and for good reason, because they're fun. And tonight, I hope to have so much fun with Captain America Civil War, but it's also going to be super dark, and it's going to be emotional, and people are probably going to die. So this one is going to be all over the place. It's going to be a very bipolar movie, and I can't wait. So on the next video, I will be reviewing Captain America Civil War, right after I watch it. So I will see you then, and hopefully you'll be seeing the movie as soon like I am. So until next time, I got more movies to watch.